This is a quick video on adjusting the Freedom top panels if they're a little offset forward back, a little bit of the front sticking up too high or the back's not sticking up high enough, or whatever adjustment you need to do between this. These are the quick, easy points that you need to look at. First thing is obviously drop down your viewer or mirror. As you can see, I'm in the driver's seat. So these two bolts right here, you can use your Jeep tool to loosen these and adjust them. Just keep in mind on where this pin is here, and to obviously start, you release all of your levers. It's much easier to adjust with the panel lifted up. At least one of the quick ways you can do it is actually just lift the panel up and let it sit on the outside rubber edge. But basically you just tighten or loosen these guys down, put it down, tighten it. One thing that you want to make certain of when you do it is that you want to make sure that right here there's not a huge gap, because this panel right here needs to cover about half of the weather strip beyond these little notches here. Those little notches are a good indicator if you have it lined up closely or not. But I learned through trial and error that I had too large of a gap at one point and the wind noise was about unbearable in the vehicle. To adjust the front panel up or down, like let's say the driver's side sticking up a little bit, basically this is all held in by clips, but you can actually easily just pull down on this piece here and get a Torx tool in. However, I do want to note that the Torx tool to adjust these two little screws here is not included in your Jeep kit. You'll need to use a general Torx tool bit to adjust that. And then finally, sitting in the driver's seat still, but looking back here, is the adjustment for the rear. There are actually 3 screws, Torx screws here, and these also use the same small Torx bit that the front adjuster did to remove enough of the screws of the panel so you can pull the panel down, and then the 2 bolts are kind of hidden on the sides back here, and then you can raise or lower. Once again, you want to do those adjustments with the panel off, tighten it down, put the panel back on, check for gaps, alignment, and so forth, and then finally want to do a drive around test to make sure that everything's tightened down. All in all, it probably took me over the course of several days, maybe half an hour here or there adjusting, go for a drive, test it out, see how it fits. Never once did I get to a point where water was leaking inside the vehicle, but like I said, at one point, adjusting this guy here, this breaker here, it turns out that, you can't just shift it back. You have to kind of play a little bit with like left and right wiggle on it a little bit to get it to that sweet spot where the panel is lined up back with the passenger side, as well as you're not creating that crazy gap up here in the corner. Otherwise you will get crazy wind noise inside the top. And everything looked like at least from original, the passenger top didn't really need to be adjusted much. I think the only thing I may have done is actually raised up the front of this panel. Sorry for flipping everybody off there, but raise the front panel here by pulling down and adjusting those screws here, and then loosen the panels and raising it up a little bit on the rear of the passenger side as well. Not too hard to work, but once again, you might as well get a actual Torx set like I have here. So I just switched through the things here. I wish I can give you the actual Torx number, but only my large ones are numbered, so I know it's smaller than a T27 bit to adjust the front here, and then to take off the screws on the panel, and then you can switch to using like the general Torx bit that comes with the Jeep kit, which I believe is a T30, in case you're kind of keeping an eye on that. But once again, if you have the Torx wrench kit, you basically just swap through until you get the torque bit that you need to fit on there. Any questions, hit me up. Thanks.